Chapter 5. The Gift of Eternity. Part 2. The mother who died Paris felt unreal, too beautiful, too intentional, like a city built for people who wanted to believe love could survive anything, even lies. Ariel brought Nova there in her private jet, wrapped the night in luxury, and called it romance without ever needing to say the word. Dinner came first, in a place too exclusive to feel public, where the lights were low, the wine was expensive, and every glance between them felt like a secret no one else had earned. Nova let herself enjoy it. For once, she did not calculate every exit. For once, she did not ask what the gift would cost. Ariel watched her across the table like something sacred. Not a client, not a lover passing through, not another beautiful thing to admire and abandon. Hers. That thought had been growing inside Ariel for months, fed by longing, by blood, by whispered promises Nova had given in moments of heat and softness. I love you. I want to be with you. Forever. Nova had spoken those words like desire. Ariel had heard them as permission. After dinner, they walked through Paris like women pretending they still had time. Nova laughed more than usual, her guard lowered by the night, by the city, by Ariel's attention. They found a bridge, and Ariel, impossibly sentimental for someone so carefully composed, bought a padlock. Nova raised an eyebrow. You're serious? Ariel smiled. Tonight, yes. It should have felt ridiculous, teenage, beneath them, but Nova allowed it. Maybe because the city made foolish things beautiful. Maybe because Ariel looked at her as if this small ritual meant something ancient. Maybe because, for a moment, Nova wanted to believe in a version of love that did not demand a strategy. They locked it together. Ariel kept her hand over Nova's for 1 second longer than necessary. Forever, she whispered. Nova smiled, soft and tired and almost free. Forever. She did not know she had just given Ariel the last word she needed. The penthouse waited above the city, glass and shadow, champagne and silence. Paris glittered beneath them, distant and golden, but inside the room everything was dark, intimate, slowed by the gravity of what Ariel had already decided. Nova moved through the space like she owned it. She always did that, claimed rooms by refusing to be impressed by them. But Ariel saw the wonder beneath the control, saw the way Nova touched the edge of the balcony door, the way her eyes followed the lights, the way she let herself be held when Ariel came behind her. You're quiet, Nova said. Ariel's lips brushed near her ear. I'm happy. Nova turned slightly, studying her. That sounds dangerous coming from you. It is. The answer should have warned her. Instead, Nova kissed her. The night softened after that, not gently, never gently with them, but beautifully. Their desire had always carried teeth beneath the silk. Nova needed control even when she surrendered. Ariel needed devotion even when she pretended patience. They met in that dangerous middle, where touch became language and language became unnecessary. For Nova, it felt like escape. For Ariel, it felt like completion. That was the tragedy. They were not living the same moment. Nova thought she was being loved. Ariel thought she was making love permanent. At some point, Ariel's touch changed. Slower, more reverent. Her mouth moved against Nova's skin with a tenderness that almost felt like prayer. Trust me, Ariel whispered. Nova did. That was what made it unforgivable. The bite came like a secret opening beneath pleasure. At first, Nova did not understand it. Her breath caught, her body tightening against the sensation, not pain exactly, but something sharper, deeper, overwhelming. Heat moved through her, then weakness, then a strange sweetness that made resistance feel distant and unnecessary. Ariel, her voice broke, not fear, not yet. Ariel held her closer. I've got you. Nova believed her. Even as the room began to blur, even as her heartbeat slowed, even as the city outside became a constellation she could no longer reach. Ariel fed carefully, lovingly, monstrously. She took Nova to the edge and past it. then gave her blood. Not a sip hidden in wine, not a thread, not a suggestion, a command written into eternity. Nova drank because she was dying, because Ariel held her, because the body wants to survive even when the soul has not consented. And somewhere between hunger, pleasure, terror, and darkness, Nova Terrance died. Ariel held her through it, like a lover, like a murderer, like both. Nova woke after sunset. The room was too clear. Every sound had edges, every shadow had depth. The city beyond the glass no longer looked golden. It looked alive in ways it had never looked before. Pulsing, breathing, full of heat, movement, blood. She sat up slowly. Ariel was already there, watching, soft, almost peaceful. "How do you feel?" Ariel asked. Nova looked down at her hands, her skin, her body. Everything was familiar and wrong at once. "Like I didn't sleep," she said, voice low, "but I'm not tired." Ariel smiled faintly. "That's because you didn't." Nova looked at her. "What do you mean?" Ariel approached carefully, as if gentleness could change the shape of what she had done. "You are like me now." Silence. Nova stared. The words did not land all at once. They entered slowly, poison disguised as truth. "No." "Nova!" "No." Ariel reached for her. Nova stepped back. That was when it shifted, not into panic, into control, breaking cleanly down the center. Nova stood fully, her voice steady enough to be worse than screaming. "You killed me," Ariel exhaled. "Nova, you killed me," she repeated, louder now. Ariel frowned, startled more by the tone than the accusation. "You don't understand yet." "No," Nova said. "You didn't understand." "What are you talking about?" Nova's eyes hardened. "You made a decision about my life." "I saved you from decay." Nova's jaw tightened. "You don't even know what you took." Ariel studied her now, slower. "Then tell me." The silence stretched. Nova almost swallowed it, almost protected the last piece of herself, but something inside her had already been violated too deeply to keep playing careful. "I have a son." The room changed. Ariel did not move. "You... what?" "I have a son," Nova repeated, not ashamed, not apologizing. "And I'm married." There it was. The truth, not strategic, raw. Ariel stepped back slightly, not wounded physically, but destabilized, as if the floor beneath her had shifted. "You told me you were free." "I am free," Nova snapped, "emotionally, but that doesn't erase reality." Ariel's voice hardened. "You let me believe you never asked." Silence. Nova stepped closer now, fury sharpening her. "You never asked who depended on me. You never asked what would collapse if I disappeared." Ariel's eyes narrowed. "You hid this." "Yes," Nova said, honest, brutal, "because you represented power, stability, and I needed that." There was no softness in it. Ariel went still. "And now?" "Now?" Nova laughed once, bitter and cold. "Now you made me disappear during the day. You made me a creature that cannot walk in sunlight. You made me immortal while my son will age." The words hit hard enough to change Ariel's face. Nova's voice rose. "You decided eternity without knowing who I needed to return to." Ariel's tone dropped. "You should have trusted me." "I did," Nova said. "With my body, with my time, with parts of myself I don't give anyone." A pause. "Not with my child." Ariel's control began to fracture. "You let me fall in love with you." Nova's eyes flashed. "You chose that." Then came the line that broke the air. "You killed a mother without knowing she was one." Silence. For the first time, Ariel understood the scale of what she had done. This was no longer only betrayal. It was consequence. Nova's voice lowered. "I would have told you." Ariel looked at her sharply. "When?" "When I was sure you wouldn't use it." Something darker moved beneath Ariel's expression. "You think I would harm a child?" Nova did not answer, and that silence was worse than accusation. Ariel inhaled slowly. "You don't know what I am capable of." Nova met her gaze evenly. That is exactly why I didn't tell you. The foundation cracked there, not because Ariel had meant to trap her, not exactly, but because she had loved without knowing enough. And love without knowledge is reckless. Love with power is dangerous. Love with immortality in its hands can become murder and still call itself a gift. The flight back to New York was silent. Too silent. Nova sat by the window, composed in the way broken things sometimes become when they refuse to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing the damage. The clouds below looked distant. The world looked unreachable. The sun existed somewhere beyond the horizon, and for the first time in her life, Nova understood that morning was no longer hers. Ariel watched her from across the cabin. Careful now, waiting, wanting to speak, wanting to fix something that could not be returned to its original shape. Nova did not look at her. Not once. Between them, something had changed, not ended. That would have been cleaner. It had become unsafe. New York became hostile after that, not because the city changed, because Nova had. She tried to return to her life, to Roland, to routine, to the legal war waiting for her at home. But nothing fit anymore. Daylight became absence. Appointments moved. Excuses multiplied. Henry gained ground because Nova could no longer appear where she needed to appear, when she needed to appear. Court schedules became dangerous. Public meetings became impossible. Her own empire began requiring explanations she could not give. And Henry noticed. Not the truth. Not the embrace. But enough. The affair revealed itself first through the body. Ariel had started leaving marks. Too visible. Too deliberate. Declarations pressed into Nova's skin like ownership. Ariel did not intend to hide them. She wanted Nova to choose faster. Before the masquerade became a problem. Before Henry became more than an inconvenience. Before Nova's human life kept taking pieces of what Ariel believed belonged to her. When Henry saw the evidence, rage did what grief could not. It gave him purpose. "You destroyed this!" he shouted, voice breaking, hands shaking with humiliation more than heartbreak. "You destroyed us!" Nova said nothing, because there was nothing useful to say. He threatened court, custody, her reputation, her agency, everything she had built. And for the first time in a long time, Nova understood she might not be able to control the story. Then Elena Voss stepped in. Calm, precise, unmoved. Elena did not protect Nova out of kindness. She protected Ariel's structure. Nova had become a risk, a scandal, a mortal complication turned immortal mistake. And Elena, who had organized Ariel's life for nearly 2 centuries, knew how to clean blood before it reached silk. Through influence, pressure, favors, and quiet manipulation, Elena reshaped the narrative. Nova's public image survived, barely. Her power survived, but not untouched, not truly. Henry still took pieces of her life, assets, leverage, legal advantage. And Ariel, in trying to help, made the cage prettier. The houses, apartments, cars, diamonds, everything she had given Nova remained under Ariel's name. Safe from Henry. Yes, but not Nova's. Protection became dependency. And Nova understood too late that another woman had built the floor beneath her feet, then kept the deed. Ariel's love worsened after the embrace. Not immediately, not all at once. There were moments of softness, moments when she almost returned to the woman Nova had first wanted. Moments when Ariel saw pain in Nova's face and seemed to recognize the damage. She would apologize, touch gently, promise space, promise patience. But the artifact at her throat did not allow peace to last. It whispered into every unresolved wound. She lied to you. She chose another life over you. You opened yourself, and she used it. Ariel tried to ignore it. Then Nova would pull away, or ask for time, or mention Roland, and the whisper would become certainty. If she can leave, she can betray you, mark her, bind her, make her stay. The collar did not fully dominate Ariel. It did something worse. It made her worst fears sound reasonable. So Ariel watched Nova sleep, asked questions at strange hours, returned to the same conversations again and again, searching for hidden truths like confession could finally make love safe. Would you leave me for him? Would you choose your son over me? Would you go back if you could? Nova began by resisting, then arguing, then lying. Not because she stopped loving Ariel, because fear teaches survival faster than love teaches trust. Eventually, when Ariel pressed too hard, Nova told her Roland was dead. A lie born from terror. A lie meant to protect a living child from an immortal lover who no longer knew where devotion ended and possession began. Ariel believed it, or needed to, and something in Nova closed forever. Their love became a war that still looked like desire. Ariel demanded submission more often, not always with cruelty, but with a hunger sharpened by insecurity. She needed proof, obedience, confessions. The body became a place where arguments ended without truly resolving. Nova stopped fighting everything, not because she surrendered completely, because fighting Ariel directly cost too much. Elena saw that before anyone else. Elena always saw. She knew about the son, about the marriage, about the lie, about the way Ariel was unraveling. She did not intervene because she cared for Nova. She intervened because she loved Ariel in the only way she knew how, by keeping the world arranged so Ariel could continue existing. If Ariel fell, Elena fell with her. And Elena had survived too long to die because Ariel confused obsession with love. So Elena began to move pieces. First, she redirected Ariel toward Theodore, where the obsession was safer, older, more familiar. Theodore knew what Ariel was. He could hold her darkness without breaking the way Nova was breaking. Then Elena gave Nova space. Not mercy, strategy. Distance allowed Nova to breathe, to rebuild pieces of herself, to remember the woman she had been before Ariel made love feel like ownership. And when the opportunity came, Elena saw it first, suggested Nova to start traveling around US, Europe, everywhere but close to Ariel. The distance started to shape Nova and also focused Ariel's obsession elsewhere, towards Theodore. Nova was the one missing Ariel, and when they see each other there was no space to words. Nova took what she wanted, then Ariel left the following morning. A couple of years passed with the same dynamic until Theodore brought the proposal to Ariel. "There is a need of a cenacle in Tucson," he says. "Can you find anyone?" Elena whispered the name Nova, enough for Ariel to consider. She has been behaving and she will be away. Exactly what Nova wanted, what she needed. Tucson needed stability. A new prince needed assistance. The Camarilla there required someone elegant, capable, media-trained, politically useful, and wounded enough to understand control. Ariel, already drawn back into Theodore's orbit and accustomed to Elena arranging what needed to be arranged, accepted. As she always did when Elena made survival sound like logic. Nova was sent to Tucson, not only due to Elena's words, but due to her own efforts. She whispers towards Ariel's ears within kisses, touches until she got the yes, not free, not healed, not untouched, but no longer directly beneath Ariel's hand. She left New York immortal, wounded and owned in ways she would spend decades learning how to hide. But distance has a way of sharpening women who were once treated like possessions. Tucson did not receive a broken lover. It received Nova Terrance, future seneschal of the Camarilla, a woman who had already learned the cost of being loved by monsters, and who would never again mistake a cage for a gift.